Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming today. This is absolutely outstanding. I never realized there'd be this many people getting involved, but when Jim and Kristen get together, a lot happens. So thank y'all very much for putting this on. Like Jim was saying, I'm the Mission Support Group Commander out at Eielson Air Force Base, and we're looking forward to this entire process and looking forward to making sure that our 3,500 airmen and families do have places to live, nice places to live. So we're looking forward to that. This is what we're going to talk about today. A little bit about the mission. We are going to have several aircraft coming here. We're going to talk a little bit about the people. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm not going to go into details, but show you a picture of the facilities that will be built at Eielson Air Force Base. Then we're going to talk a little bit about where are these airmen and their families going to live in 2020, 2021. And finally, what can they afford? So we want to make sure, just like Jim said, that we get it right. We don't tell y'all what needs to be built, that you go out into the community, that y'all determine what needs to be built, but we're going to tell you about the mission and we're going to tell you about the people who are coming here. Okay, so by the end of 2022, we're going to have a couple of F-35 squadrons. So 50 plus aircraft are going to be at Eielson Air Force Base. That's going to change our Air Force Base from not just a training base, which it will continue to do, but we will add on this mission, and it's going to be a fighter wing at that point. So not only will we be doing training, but we will be ready to fight war at that point as well. So it's going to be really interesting. We have most of the infrastructure that we need, but we're still looking at the housing piece. We expect a population increase of about 3,500 people. So within this population increase, we're talking about 1,244 actual personnel, military personnel, and then on top of that, we include their families. Now, let me go to the next slide here. Let me back up one. What we also expect, though, is for that number to slightly grow, but we don't want to tell you what it's going to be yet. We just want to continue to push forward and see what we have. So on the books right now, we have 1,244 military members that will be coming here, and then plus their families. As far as the laydown of what's going to happen at the Air Force Base at Eielson, you can see a whole lot is going on here. So. Okay, so if you see in the green there, FY17, you can get a feel for what we're doing. We have a temporary gate that we're building over here, so not a whole lot happening, but we have a flight simulator building, which is a whole lot happening, okay? And then in FY18, you see all of these projects, about $190 million in projects that will be built out at Eielson Air Force Base. And then you can see the other projects in FY19, and of course, then in FY20, we have a couple up at the top there that have not been funded, but we hope that they will be funded into the future. And so what I'm really here to tell you is that there's $500 million, a little bit more than $500 million that's being put into Eielson Air Force Base for the F-35 mission. So we're really excited about that. And as you can tell, I'm sure you can tell with how many buildings we need to build, we need a lot of contractors. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of materials. And so as we begin this process, which we actually already have, and then we lay on top of it anything else that you are building out in the community, there's likely to be kind of a war for resources and for people to get this accomplished. So that's why I'm glad that all these people are here today, and we can figure out how to work these together and make this happen. Okay, so our military population that we're adding on to Eielson Air Force Base, like I said earlier, is about 1,244 military members. Our expectation is that it rise a little bit. We're not sure exactly what that number is going to be, however. Historically, 41% of the people who come out to Eielson Air Force Base have been single, all right? And so you can just imagine here, if we break out the numbers off of the 1,244, we'd have 761 families, 483 singles. And so out of those singles, that 120 number has to do with the amount of airmen that we believe will come here that will live in our dorms. And we do have dorm space for them. The rest of those people, I don't know where they're going to live. So we have 910 houses on our base, and right now we're 90% occupied. The reason we're not 95% or better is because we're doing a few renovations on the base. So bottom line, that's what I'm here to talk about, is the fact that we've got a bunch of people coming here, and we're reaching out to y'all to see what y'all think, and hope that you'll go out into the community and study exactly what's needed so that we can come up with the right amount of houses or apartments or whatever it might be. I don't know what it might be for these airmen and their families. I will tell you that the airmen and the families would like to be as close as they can to the base. There will be some that would live out in Fairbanks, sure, they're North Pole, Salcha, all those places, but most of them would like to be within 20, 25 minutes of the base. And a lot of the reason behind that is because a lot of the younger airmen just have one car, and it may not be that good of a car either. So we just want to make sure and take care of those folks. Now, if you look at the chart there, the projected housing shortfall, these are all just guesstimations, and this is really just history here. When they started closing down a couple of our fighter squadrons, what had happened was we had a bunch of housing, as you can see, with the red there. It shows almost 1,500, and then you go all the way to the far right here, and you can see we have a whole lot less houses. Now, also, back in where it says 2005 pre-BRAC, it shows, you know, a certain amount of people, just under 3,500. Well, once we get to FY 2021, we're going to have 300 plus more people than that at the very least. So you can see we have about 500 houses less, about 300 people more as far as our base is concerned. And so, you know, you'd have to come up with the math. Like I say, go out and look, go out, survey, and go out and do your own math to see what we might need. Okay, so like I was telling you earlier, our airmen, they can't necessarily, you know, most of them are going to be young airmen, and so they can't necessarily afford, you know, that much. I mean, so if you look over here to your right, if you look down at the bottom, it says young enlisted. So that chart there, the blue chart, $1,500 a month. So the Air Force expects a young airman, young enlisted person, probably between 18 and 22, to come out here and to find a place to live and to pay for their utilities within about the range of that amount right there. So it's not a whole lot. You can see as we go up, the junior enlisted, it's a little bit more, $2,050 per month is one of the ranges, but still not that much money. And then, of course, as we go on up, we see some senior enlisted and junior officers there. They're what we call basic allowance for housing, or BAH, is, you know, it's a little bit better, but really not that high. And you can see in the middle column there, when we get up to the senior officers, there's not going to be that many senior officers coming here. So what the picture that I'm trying to paint for you is that we have a bunch of young airmen and young families coming here, and that's who we're trying to take care of. And as far as my presentation, that's all that I have. I look forward to questions later on. Thanks again for coming out.